Hello friends, welcome to ePathshala. Today we shall be discussing on the Convention of Wetland of International Importance, Ramsar Convention 1972. In today's lecture we shall be covering why there is a need of Ramsar Convention, its historical background and the challenges before it. This convention is mentioned under 1972. It is commonly called as a Ramsar Convention, otherwise the official name is Convention on Wetland for International Importance 1972. Almost 90% of the UN members, they have acceded to this intergovernmental treaty. The main objective of this treaty is to protect the wetlands and to ensure that the wise use of wetlands. Historical background. The Convention on Wetland is an intergovernmental treaty adopted on 2nd February 1971 in the Iranian city of Ramsar on the southern shore of the Caspian Sea. Thus, though nowadays the name of convention is usually written Convention on Wetland, Ramsar, Iran 1971, it has come to be known popularly as Ramsar Convention. Ramsar is the first of the modern global intergovernmental treaties on the conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. But compared with more recent ones, its provisions are relatively straightforward and general. The official name of the treaty, the Convention on Wetland of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat, reflects the original emphasis upon the conservation and wise use of wetland as habitat for water birds. Definition of wetlands. In order to know further about Ramsar Convention, it is necessary to define the wetlands. Wetland means where the water is near to the surface of the land, where water is shallow, and also a place of wetland. Wetlands are those areas where the water is the primary factor in controlling the life of plants and animal life. The Ramsar Convention takes a broad approach in determining the wetlands which come under its mandate. Under the text, the convention wetlands are defined as areas of marsh, fen, peatland or water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water that is static or flowing, fresh, brackish or salt, including areas of marine water and the depth of which at low tide does not exceed 6 meters. In addition, for the purposes of protecting coherent sites, the Article 2.1 provides that the wetland to be included in Ramsar list of internationally important wetlands may incorporate riparian and coastal zones adjacent to the wetlands and islands or bodies of marine water deeper than 6 meters at low tide lying within the wetlands. It means that the definition of the wetland may also include the riparian and coastal zones which are adjacent to it. It has a wider scope and it can also include the water deeper than 6 meters in case it is marine water at low tide lying within the wetlands. It is important to mention here that lakes and rivers are understood to be covered by Ramsar definition of wetland in their entirety regardless of their depth. There are 5 major types of wetland which are recognized. First, marine, second, estuarine, third, lacustrine, fourth, riverine, fifth, palustrine. Human-made wetlands. In addition, there are human-made wetlands such as fish and shrimp ponds, farm ponds, irrigated agricultural land, salt pans, reservoirs, gravel pits, sewage farms and canals. The Ramsar Convention has adopted a Ramsar classification of wetland. Type includes 42 types grouped into 3 categories. Why there is a need to preserve wetland? Wetlands are among the world's most productive environment. They are called cradles of biological diversity, providing the water and primary productivity upon which countless species of plants and animals depend for survival. They support high concentration of bird, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish and invertebrate species. Wetlands are also important storehouses of plant genetic material. For example, rice, which is a common wetland plant, is a staple diet for more than half of the humanity. So there is a need to preserve wetland. What are the 3 pillars of convention? The Ramsar strategic plan and the 3 pillars of the convention are mentioned in the 3rd strategic plan. Contracting parties seek to deliver their commitments to wetland conservation and wise use through these three pillars of action. First, working towards the wise use of the wetland through a wide range of actions and process contributing to human well-being through sustainable wetlands, water allocation and river basin management, etc. Second, devoting particular attention to the further identification, designation and management of a comprehensive suite of sites for the list of wetlands of international importance. Third, cooperation internationally in the delivery of wetland conservation and wise use through the management of transboundary water resources and wetlands and shared wetland species. Collaboration with other conventions and international organizations, sharing of information and expertise, and increasing the flow of financial resources and relevant technologies to less developed countries. How does Ramsar Convention works? The implementation of Ramsar Convention is a continuing partnership between the contracting parties, Standing Committee and the Convention Secretariat, with the advice of subsidiary expert body, the Scientific and Technical Review Panel, and the support of international organization partners. Every 3 years, the representative of the contracting parties meet as the Conference of the Contracting Parties, the policy-making organ of the convention, which adopts decisions to administer the work of the convention and improve way in which the parties are able to implement its objectives. The framework for implementation of Ramsar Convention, first adopted at the 1984 Conference of the Parties, set out both the long-term commitments and the priorities for the attention of the contracting parties to the convention. Subsequent meetings of the conference have updated the framework in the light of decisions of COP, and within the framework, priority objectives have been agreed for the parties, the Standing Committee and the Secretariat for each triennium. The Conference of the Contracting Parties, that is COP, is the policy-making organ of the convention. Government representatives from each of the contracting parties meet every three years to receive national reports on the preceded triennium, approve the work program and budgetary arrangement for the next 3 years, and consider guidance for the parties on a range of ongoing and emerging environment issues. Other participants in the conference, representative of non-member states, intergovernmental institutions and the national and international non-governmental organizations may participate in this meeting as non-voting observers. There is a procedure stipulated in the treaty and the rules of procedure for voting by the parties. But in fact, there has not yet been a vote on any substantive decision, and all decisions have in the end been made by the consensus. The program of each meeting of COP includes a number of opportunities for presentations and discussions of ongoing and emerging issues of importance in the field of wetland conservation, including further interpretation and development of key convention concepts and guidance for the parties on the key areas of implementation. These issues are considered in the plenary sessions, which normally lead to adoption of resolutions and recommendations. Ramsar COPs have gained the reputation of being highly effective events, allowing an active involvement and participation of non-governmental and academic communities. Publications and proceedings. The proceedings of each meeting of the conference of the contracting parties are published subsequently in the convention's 3 official languages, that is English, French and Spanish, and it is also available on CD-ROM by the Secretariat. Normally, the proceeding contains a conference report, the resolution and recommendation, list of the participant, national report submitted by the parties, and other documentation provided by the COP. The proceedings of all the meetings of the Conference of the Parties have also been published on Ramsar website with additional materials. The Standing Committee. The Standing Committee of the Ramsar Convention is intersessional executive body which represents the COP between its triennial meetings within the framework of decisions made by the COP. The contracting parties that are members of SCs, that is Standing Committee, are elected by each meeting of the COP to serve for 3 years until the next one. The contracting parties that have accepted to be elected as regional representatives on the standing committee shall have the following task. First, to designate the delegates to the standing committee, taking into account their significant responsibility as regional representative, and to make each and every effort so that their delegate or their substitutes attend all the meetings of the committee. Second, when there is more than one regional representative in regional group, to maintain regular contact and consultation with the other regional representatives. Third, to maintain regular contacts and consultation with the contracting parties in the regional group, and to use the opportunities of travel within their regions and of attending regional or international meetings to consult about issues related to convention and to promote its objective. Fourth, to canvass the opinions of the contracting parties in their regional group before meetings of the standing committee. Fifth, to advise the secretariat in setting the agenda of regional meetings. Sixth, to assume additional responsibility by serving as member of the subgroups established by the standing committee. Seventh, to provide advice as requested by the chairperson or the chairs of subgroups or the secretariat of the convention. Eighth, in the regions concerned, to make deliberate efforts to encourage other countries to join the convention. The standing committee normally meets once every year, traditionally at the offices of the secretariat in Switzerland. There are presently 16 regional and 2 ex officio members of the standing committee, chosen on the proportional basis by the Ramsar regions. The secretariat. The Ramsar Convention Secretariat carries out the day-to-day coordination of the convention activities. It is located in the headquarter facilities of IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature in Gland, Switzerland, and secretariat staff are legally considered to be an employee of IUCN. The Ramsar Convention Budget. The Conference on the Contracting Parties reviews the financial regulation of the convention and adopts a core budget for the next triennium at each of its ordinary meetings. The convention uses the Swiss franc as its working currency. Draft budgets are prepared by the secretariat and submitted for endorsement to the standing committee prior to ordinary meeting of the conference. The core budget basically covers the following cost. First, function of convention secretariat. Second, sum of the cost of the meeting of the standing committee and STRP, including the cost of participation of members from less developed countries. Third, a contribution of IUCN for cost incurred in hosting the secretariat offices. Fourth, a contribution to Wetlands International for management of Ramsar site database and Ramsar sites information services. The Ramsar region. Regionalization is a significant factor in the operation of the convention. In terms of the structure of the standing committee, the organization of secretariat, staff and duties, and the ways in which contracting parties cooperate through regional representative and meetings, this system was reviewed in 1999, so that now for technical and administrative purposes, the Ramsar Convention has established 6 regions. These are Africa, Asia, Europe, Nootropics, that is South and Central America and Caribbean area, North America, that is Canada, Mexico and United States, Oceania. Cooperation with the other organization. The Ramsar Convention, through the Secretariat and its other bodies, maintains close working links with other international, intergovernmental and non-governmental organizations to achieve a strategic alliance for wetland conservation. In resolution, the parties judged the International Water Management Institute meets the qualifications for Ramsar International Organization partner status that were outlined in 1999 and endorsed the addition of that organization as 5th official partner of the convention. The 5 international organization partners are BirdLife International, IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, IWMI, that is International Water Management Institute, Wetland International, formerly IWRB, the Asian Wetland Bureau, and Wetland for the Use Americas, WWF International. The IOPs provide invaluable support for the work of the convention at global, regional, national and local levels, chiefly by providing expert technical advice, field level implementation assistance and financial support, both from their headquarters unit and from their national and regional offices and affiliates, and from their expert networks, assisting the contracting parties. Under the convention, the assistance is also available to contracting parties to help them meet their commitments under the convention. The Ramsar Handbooks. Over the years, the Conference of the Contracting Parties has adopted a considerable body of scientific, technical and policy guidance to assist the parties in addressing the issues embodied in Convention's three pillars: the wise use of the wetlands, wetlands of international importance and international cooperation. The wise use of wetland. In order to understand what is the wise use, this wise use, which was pioneering when the convention was drafting, the convention continues to emphasize that human uses on sustainable basis is entirely compatible with the Ramsar principle and wetland conservation in general. The Ramsar wise use concept, it applies to all wetlands and water resources in contracting parties' territory, not only to those sites designated as wetland of international importance. Its application is crucial to ensure that wetland can continue fully to deliver their vital role in supporting maintenance of biological diversity and human well-being. As this term wise use gained currency within the Ramsar community and was used elsewhere for different purposes, the Conference of the Parties recognized the need for greatest precision and adopted a definition at its third meeting in Regina, that is Canada, in 1987. To assist the parties in implementing the wise use concept, the Wise Use Working Group, established at Regina, developed guidelines for implementation of the wise use concept, which were adopted in 1990. The pioneering wise use guidelines emphasized the importance for contracting parties to first adopt national wetland policies involving a review of their existing legislation and institutional arrangement to deal with wetland matters. Second, develop programs of wetland inventory, monitoring, research, training, education and policy awareness, etc. Third, to take action at wetland sites involving the development of integrated management plans covering every aspect of wetlands and their relationship with their catchments. Establishment of national wetland policies. Since the first meeting of the conference, the contracting parties have recognized that national wetland policies are the key feature in the implementation of the wise use concept. To assist them in developing their policies, the Conference of the Parties has adopted guidelines for developing and implementing national wetland policies, a handbook which provides a broad-based multi-sectoral consultative process of policy development to resolve conflicting interests and share ownership in the policy amongst all stakeholders. Legislation. The contracting parties has urged that they will ensure national laws to protect wetland in their respective country, the guidelines for reviewing laws and institution to promote the conservation and wise use of wetland was adopted in the conference. Inventory. The contracting parties confirmed the importance of comprehensive national inventory as the vital base for many activities necessary for achieving the wise use of wetlands. In this case, including policy development, identification, designation of Ramsar site, documentation of wetland losses and the identification of wetland with potential for restoration. Monitoring. Monitoring is the process of measuring change in ecological character in any wetland over a period of time. It can be carried out at different levels of intensity depending upon available funding or technology. Monitoring methods include simple field observations, remote sensing, quantitative sampling, techniques such as gathering of wetland plant material, and where changes in social values and uses are concerned, participatory observation. Action at particular wetland sites. Maintenance of ecological functioning of the wetland requires an integrated catchment approach to the management, incorporating the different uses and activities that are compatible with sustainability. Such management must take an interdisciplinary approach, drawing upon the principle of biology, economics, policy, and social sciences. Global concerns must also be considered, namely, for example, shared wetland system, shared species, and global climate change. Listed side. At the time of the joining the convention, each contracting parties undertake to designate at least one site for inclusion in the list of wetland of international importance, that is Ramsar list. The inclusion of the site in Ramsar list confers upon its prestige of international recognition and embodies the government's commitment to take all steps necessary to ensure maintenance of the ecological character of the site. Criteria for identifying wetland. Wetland should be selected for the list on account of their international significance in terms of ecology, botany, zoology, or hydrology, and indicates that in the first instance, wetland of the international importance to waterfall at any season should be included. The Montreux record. The Montreux record is a register of wetland sites on the list of wetlands of international importance, where changes in ecological character have occurred, or are occurring, or are likely to occur as a result of technological developments, that is, pollution or other human interference. It is maintained as a Ramsar list. The Conference of the Parties has adopted working definition of ecological character and change in ecological character. Transboundary species conservation. Article 5 of the Convention states that the contracting party shall endeavour to coordinate present and future policies and regulation concerning the conservation of wetland and their flora and fauna. Many species of migratory bird follow flyways along which are situated wetlands which they use as resting and feeding areas. Achieving the effective conservation of such species require cooperation between states sharing wetland system or situated along a flyway. The Secretariat works to facilitate such cooperation, reserves and training. The conservation provides that each contracting party shall promote and conservation of wetland and waterfall by establishing a nature reserve on wetland, whether they are included in the list or are not, and provide adequately for their wardening. The Convention states that contracting parties shall promote the training of personnel competent in the fields of wetland research, management and vending, training personnel particularly in the field of management, education and administration, or are essential for any effective conservation and wise use of wetland and their resources. Awareness through different programs. The communication, education, participation and awareness through internet, through celebration of World's Wetland Day on 2nd February every year has to be done. The awareness may also be created through the Ramsar publication and material on technical reports on meeting which are available on internet. How states may join Ramsar Convention? Any member of the United Nations or one of the specialized agency or of the International Atomic Energy Agency or party of the Statute of International Court of Justice may become a party to this convention. Unfortunately, supranational bodies such as European Commission are thus not eligible to join the convention, but may nevertheless develop bilateral working agreements with the convention secretariat. The instrument of accession. In order for a country to accede to the convention, signatures and the deposit of the instrument, the ratification or the accession are to be made through diplomatic channels to the depository for the Ramsar Convention. The Director General of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, that is UNESCO, at Paris, at France, with a copy of the Office of the International Standards and the Legal Affairs of the same at their address. The instrument of ratification or accession must be signed by the head of the state or government or by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Designating wetland for Ramsar list. The documents of adhesion to the convention sent by the head of the state or the foreign office to the UNESCO must be accompanied by the designation of at least one wetland site for the list of wetland of the international importance. Each party shall designate suitable wetland within their territory for inclusion in the list. The designation of first and the subsequent Ramsar site do not require ratification by the parliaments, but rather they are administrative decisions taken by the appropriate government agency according to existing procedure in each country. The cost of joining the convention. At each ordinary meeting, the conference of the parties adopt a budget in Swiss francs for the next triennium. Contracting parties contribute to this budget a percentage that is based upon the United Nations scale of assessment adopted for each year by the UN General Assembly, with the exception that the conference of the parties has established a minimum level of contribution at 1000 Swiss francs for all the parties to cover basic expenses of invoicing and administration. After discussing the Ramsar Convention in detail, as what are the organs and what are the challenges, in conclusion, now we can see that at the national level in India, we do not have any law in Ramsar as for the protection of wetland. Since we do not have the law, but there are certain rules available in 2010 convention which is passed by the Ministry of Forest Energy. Now under this convention, it is important to understand that to stop the degradation, the government has made certain rules, and those people who want to do harvesting, then it is necessary for them to take the permission from the authorities. Since the judiciary has also taken various steps, but there are various challenges. For example, the civil society, they have given very limited rule to protect the wetland as per the convention or the rules of 2010. There are various ways, and more liberal rules should be made so that the civil society should be asked to participate for the protection of wetland. Thank you.